everyone, it's me, Gamer Girl Chibine, aka Chibs, and I am back. Hello, and welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. If it's easier, you guys can call me by my nickname, which is aka Chibs, as I'm also known as when people chat with me. Today we're going to be showcasing yet another house design, which is going to be super cool. Well, I like to think so anyways, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. We're going to start off with that, and then we're going to just kind of take it easy, just chill, chat, and play some more adventures on Elder Scrolls Online. Okay, so let's start up the game. Elder Scrolls Online. Just have to load in with my character here. Give it a second. Yes, we want to play in North America, please. On PlayStation, PS4 Pro. Not PS5, well, not yet anyways. And this is my main account. Those of you who might have been watching and are kind of curious, well, which account do you play on, Chibs? I actually play on 4 different accounts. I play on both PlayStation, North America, as well as EU, as well as on PC, NA, and EU. There, too. Busy. But this is what I originally started off on and have probably more than easily over 7,000 hours worth of game time on this particular game itself. I started this game back in 2017, believe it or not, back in February. Holy cow, seems so long ago. And this was actually one of my first main characters I started off with, and I have continued with as well, because she is working her way up to be a master crafter. And if some people are saying, well, I'm a master crafter, no problem. Are you really? Because if you are, that's pretty amazing, unless you've been around a very long time and have focused solely on that. And what I mean by that, as we log in with Zardina here, who's a Dark Elf Dragon Knight class, part of the Ebonheart Pact. Yeah, so it's one thing if you know how to basically, and you've unlocked all of the different, how do I say this? I'll actually have to go to one of the workstations, but basically there's the different workstations and you have to learn all the different traits and whatnot for either weapons or like gear or provisioning or for all the different workstations. That's just part of it. And a lot of people think, well, once I have that, aren't I a master crafter technically? You're getting there. If you're an absolute master crafter, you know every and all possible designs that are available. And it's the type of thing that you will continuously keep on learning as you go, because they always have new and different sets that come out for different gear as well. And they continuously, the other thing too, have tons of different recipes and patterns. So unless you know absolutely every and all of those, then you're a true absolute master crafter. All right, where are we, Chibs? That is a good question. It's all smoky in here and I can't see. And this is a very large building. It's massive. We are located here in Blackreach, Greymoor Caverns. What? Whoa! How's it going? Hello! I hope you're doing well. Whee! One of those favorite sound effects. So we're going to be showcasing today in the Blackreach Greymoor Caverns area. Always good. Good. I still have other things I have to complete in this area, but remember there's an opportunity to complete this house, which is absolutely amazing. And it is located right there. We're just right beside it, just outside of it. And that is, was it Bastion? I'm going to mispronounce the name. Sanguinaris? Yes, I believe. There, I got it. And this is it. It's huge. And this is all underneath in cavern area. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, I'm going to go through it with you guys. It's really cool. It's a neat vampire kind of themed house. And well, this character is just that. So what are you working on? It's new in the zoo for you. This is just massive. Like, look at the gates. It's huge. Alrighty. Yes, the vampire castle. Vampire. Maybe I should have dressed up for that. Morning. Going for a mocha in a sec. Oh, that sounds nice, actually. I just have water, but Then back to looking busy. Yep, I hear you. Busy, busy, busy. All right. Come on, loading screen. Let's go. So as we arrive here, oh my goodness. Crazy spooky area. Yeah, and there's a reason for that. Okay, I'm gonna go in first person. I think that might be a little bit more interesting. Just so you can really see all the fine details of this place. It's just massive. I just fell in love with this place. I thought, wow. If this doesn't scream like grandeur, I don't know what does. And when it became available, I was just like, yes, 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 yes. And also when we go here, we're going to look at some of the pieces. In case some of you are curious, what is that piece? I can go into the housing edition, so it'll show exactly what each piece is, in case you're like, oh, I really like that piece, but I could use it probably in this house or something, or I have a design in mind that I think that would look really cool. Now, I have these braziers, which are absolutely fantastic. Vampiric braziers. They're taloned because they look like eagle talons kind of thing. And then I got these gargoyles. I thought, man, these are so cool. And they work perfectly. And they're stone and they're just fantastic. I had to get a bunch of these and place them here and there throughout the house to add to it. But what is one of my favorite features in the piece de resistance, I guess you could say, is these statues coming up. They're just absolutely magnificent. I couldn't just have one, I had to have two. Why? Because I wanted it to have kind of like this archway kind of effect. It was very dramatic, because right there, those are the front doors to get into this lovely huge ass house. Now, what is super cool about these statues, when they do become available, you can purchase them, but they only are available for a limited time, and they usually pop up like once a year, and you might want to keep an eye out for them in case you're curious and go, oh wow. So this is, yes, the statue, more specifically the vampiric sovereign, which is really, really cool. I like the effects on it. I like the coloring, and the detail is just amazing how it has kind of like that ongoing swirl that you see, and then the bats are just circling and covering the area around him and swarming him, which is super cool. Now, it comes in not one, not two, but I believe three, if I'm correct, different light variations that you can activate, which is really, really cool. So if we press it, so the first one was red. This one's really cool. He's got the spooky purple, and it's just fantastic. And then he has these, his hands, they're just radiating these flames and everything. Just very demonic kind of looking, if you want that kind of look, which is cool. But you forgo the bats, unfortunately. So if you like the bats, then you have to go to the other option, which is the red and then the swarming bats. But this one looks really, really neat in itself. And then this is the third one, which is also really nice. If you don't want it quite so dark, but you like the whole kind of flame idea, just absolute evil and whatnot, but you like the lighting of this because it's a little bit brighter, then who knows, maybe this option is actually for you and a little bit better. But the cool thing is you can rotate throughout the different lighting schemes just to get the certain effect that you want. And well, because I was going for more the vampire kind of theme, I thought it was probably best to keep it on the blood curdling red color. And then have the bats flying all the way around that as well. I thought that was absolutely wonderful. And I thought most effective for this particular themed house. Now, what I think is super cool too, I found these lovely trees, and look at, I thought, you know, because it's all underground, probably whoever did live here a long time ago didn't have a whole bunch of light, and well, make it extra creepy, I went with these type of trees. Now there's two different variants actually. If you take a look, there's these that kind of have a little bit of a curvature to them, and then it has kind of that lichen deer moss, I guess you would call it, something to that effect. And I just love how it's all gnarled and twisted and curvy. And then there's this variation, which is very, very straight, but then it has one branch that also curves off to the side. And I made a cluster on either side, again, to kind of make that bit of an archway grand entrance before you go into the house. As well as I added some of these different types of plants. I thought these look great. And again, just so you get an idea, so this is the twisted ash flower, right, tree that you can get. You can purchase that, which is gold. You can go to different furnishers and find that if you wish. And then this tree that I was talking about, this is the tree, which is a petrified ashen tree. And then the other variant over here, in case you're like, oh, I like that one, that is the towering withered tree. And I especially think that one's really good if you want kind of a really creepy type of forest effect, I guess you could say. And those, where did I get those? I'm trying to remember now. And go out here, zoom out, and we go all the way. Those trees, I remember, were over in Cold Harbor. More specifically, if you zoom in, the best way to go there is you would zoom in. Oops, that's a little too far. And you want to catch the Hollow City Way Shrine. And then there's a furnishing place that you can go to over the weekend. And he's a specialty type furniture. He's separate, but you want to go into the one building just before you go to that furnishing guy. And in there, you go see the Greymoor guy in the actual kind of, I think it's supposed to be like a tavern or something to that effect. You see him, and that's where you can get those trees, which look really, really cool. Let's see here. Right. And again, I wanted to make it extra creepy, so we went with a few more of these different types of trees. Again, just finishing it off at the end. And I didn't have any of these at the time. Where are they now? I think a bunch of it. Yes, they're way up there. See those? I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to use my pointer stick, but right up there, those are a particular type of mushroom for this specific area. Now, a couple of my friends were kind enough, and they had some, and they gave me a few of them later, but I didn't have them at the time. So I just went with some of these different types of mushrooms and plants that I thought would kind of work as well with the scale of everything and the coloring, considering what was available at the time. couple boulders, that kind of thing. Bing, bam, boom, and well, this is what you get as kind of an end result. Now, keep in mind, the cool thing is what I liked about this area too, it actually has quite a bit of lighting, even though it has that creepy vibe to it, right? With the stonework and of the actual building and carving, but the area itself, and then it looks like they kind of remind me of the blue coral that you can get, which if I go to here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, if you go and decide to purchase this specifically, you can come here, but again, keep in mind you would have to actually purchase real crowns from, in my case it would be if you're playing on PlayStation, the PlayStation Store, so you'd have to actually use real currency, real money, to purchase these in-game currency called crowns to purchase from Bethesda itself, right? And we would go to Conservatory, and this is what I'm talking about. Where are you? It's a special type of coral. I have seen you. Where are you? Where are you? Now I won't be able to find it. Just my luck. Actually, I think it might be under lighting. Yes, I think that's correct, actually. Because it does glow. That's right. Okay. Let me go. Hold on. I know it's here. Not braziers. No, it's not candles. Chandeliers. No, it's not that, technically. What's the next one? Enchanted lights. It might be under something like that. Here we go. Perfect example. I was right. It was under lights. Yes. So they have a couple different variations. It's the lunar branching cactus, or the lunar branching tall cactus, more specifically. And as you can see, these are different in color. They're blue, but if you wanted that kind of, similar effect, there's 3 different variations, and they're very, very bright. And there you go. As you can see, very similar. But unfortunately, they do not come in that color specifically, in case you're curious. They only have them in the blue if you want to purchase them. I have yet to see this version available. I mean, who knows? Maybe someone has that, but I've never seen that. And even when I've gone to different guild traders, just out of curiosity, because you can also purchase items from there too, I've never seen that specific color if you're looking for that particular type. Only in the blue. And that's the other thing too, to keep in mind as well before I forget. If you so if you go and to different places to purchase different furniture items, yeah, like the specialty furniture fellow, or just the different, they have specific furnishing places in different locations, right? But if you want really specific types of plants or flowers or whatnot, they're not all available. The only way you can absolutely get specific pieces, some of them you will have to purchase through with Bethesda using crowns. That's just the way it is. So if you absolutely want something and you've looked everywhere and you can't find them at the different furnishing places, there's a reason for that. That's because they're only available via purchase with crowns through Bethesda. So that's something to keep in mind. Some people are very diehard and they're like, yes, 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 I absolutely want that. So they go out of their way and they just purchase it. And that's totally fine if that's your thing. That's awesome. Like, it looks really cool. It does. But some people are like, that's great, but yeah, not gonna happen because I do not have the funds to do that, which is understandable. Okay. And then we have here, if you're kind of curious about these are the amber spade leaf cluster, and they're just a type of plant. And then these are midnight cluster mushrooms. I like these. I've used these a couple times for different settings. They're really nice kind of color blue. And then this, you can also, I have run into these and I have collected these, which are the cave bracket cluster mushrooms. They're really cool because I like the stacking effect. And again, if you need a bigger piece, these two are definitely nice pieces for mushrooms if you like that whole fungi kind of look about them. And then those are the trees, as I mentioned earlier, that you can get as well. And then I just kind of copied on that same side because we want a mirrored effect, right? We want it to look nice. We want it to be kind of balanced so it makes sense. It's pleasing to the eye. It doesn't, you're not like, what the heck? It looks kind of gimpy and gibbly, right? It doesn't look weird. All right, now, throughout here, I kind of went with the theme and I tried to keep with the whole vampire thing. We use the vampiric armchair, right? Which is ornate. And then you have the tables that matches. And then we have also, they have a bunch of different carpets. And again, if you're lucky enough, if you're in the right zones and everything, you can pick up different recipes and patterns and whatnot for either gear or basically like for furnishing items as well. If you can't find them all the time, a lot of it depends on the RNG drop, which is kind of a pain in the butt, and you just gotta rinse and repeat. Or another thing you can do is, as I mentioned, if you have, say, a bunch of friends who are into design and that kind of thing, you can trade with them, which is pretty cool. And sometimes they're lucky enough to pick up multiples of certain things and say, hey, are you willing to do a trade? You can do that. Or another thing that you can do as well, which is really good, is join a guild. You would be absolutely surprised. There are a whole bunch of different housing guilds. Now, for example, I'm on like Tamriel Home and Gardens, which is a huge guild. It's a massive guild for NAEU, not only for PlayStation, but also PC. And they have tons and tons of members. They're very, very large and very, very picky. If you want to get into that guild, you have to showcase your skill set. And if you know someone who's already on the guild, then they can talk to the GM and everything and say, hey, this person would like to join the guild. They're very picky. And I was very lucky the timing when I was able to get in. And they have someone look at your place, an example that you want to showcase, so they can see that you're serious. You're not just putting, you know what I mean? Like just random stuff, like just for storage purposes. They want to see that you actually take this seriously because they actually have competitions. And they do a lot of really neat stuff. And the people that are in that particular guild, holy cow, some of them are just absolutely fantastic. Some of them do fantasy. Some of them kind of stick with certain particular themes. Some of them just make completely different pieces altogether, or scenes and scenarios out of the house location itself, and it doesn't even look a thing like the house. It's just amazing what some people come up with. Myself, my style of design that I like to showcase, I have some examples. If you missed it, the other day I showcased one of the designs, which was an underwater scene, and it's completely salt water, which is really, really cool. I enjoyed doing that. But traditionally, I like to do these houses up kind of what Bethesda should have done, if that makes any sense. You know how when you go into a scene and you go in there and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's kind of neat. I see some ideas. That's cool and whatnot. But it still seems a bit empty. Does that make sense? Or sometimes you'll notice they put things in a certain way and it just doesn't seem like I would totally live there, or I want to live there. That would be my ideal place and everything. When I design and decorate and build and do different things, I try and come up with different ideas, basically, where, you know, this is the theme. This is where you want to go into and experience and whatnot. So as you can remember how large and how tall this particular lovely castle, I guess you could say in a sense, or house. They should have named it a castle, because my goodness, like, look at how tall it goes all the way up and everything. And again, I just wanted something kind of creepy, but, you know, kind of went with the theme. And it's hard because you have so much space And so again, one of my tips and tricks, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, if you have these larger houses, because this house, technically, if we go into it, and we go into my collections, so you go into housing, you have 3 different classes, right? So you have your stable home, which is the smallest class. Then you have your classic home and then notable home. Now, this is a notable home. And the notable homes are the largest, and you can have up to 700 pieces, all right? And that's just, you know, the main part of the house. You have also spaces for special, I'll go into it here actually, one second, just to go over it really quickly. So if you go into housing editor, oops, and there's a lot of pathing, excuse me. So yeah, we have off to the side, you'll notice traditional furnishings. I have 657 pieces alone in the 700 piece house, all right? Then you have your special furnishings, you have 10 slots for that. And then your collectible furnishings, you have 110. And then you have your special collectibles, which basically are kind of like if you had your banker or your merchant, or you have mounts that you want to basically have in and around your house moving, or non-combat pets, you can do that kind of thing. All right. And so it looks really cool. So for instance, this is what we did. I used all this pathing because I wanted this vampiric type ugly dog, but is native to this specific area if you play this game, right? And I want him to be kind of guarding the premises of this huge castle. Okay, and then we have these grand, large, huge carpets, and I wanted a really grand entrance. And again, and what I ended up doing, this isn't one carpet, it's 2 of these end to end. Again, more of these braziers. And then I found this in a furnishing pack, and I'm like, oh yes, this is awesome. So there's 4 pieces of these that you can get. So this is the Dragon Priest Frieze Ascension. It kind of tells the story, right? Again, more furnishings. This one is Exodus. Again, Dragon Priest Frieze. And then the other one is over here. Dragon Priest Frieze, but this is for the restoration. Again, you can see kind of the story here, what's going on. And then lastly, we have the Triumph scene. And I just thought, these are fantastic. I like the fact that they're stone and they're nice size and they kind of fit in there. And if you're kind of curious, well, what's behind there? It's just kind of a gated little area. You can't open the gates or do anything with it. And I thought, you know, it's kind of a waste. And I like these a lot, and I thought I want to showcase them. And I thought this would be kind of neat because this style house, it's almost like, holy cow, it's like going to a huge museum, I guess is the best way to describe it. Then we have all this huge cluster of like bats and kind of like a bell tower idea, but it's not. But I like that effect. I put them there, and then this particular dragon skeleton, I thought, wow, that looks really cool. I put a couple more of those vampiric talon braziers up top to highlight it, showcase it, do it justice. And I like the fact that it kind of looks like it's sort of in flight, but it's not, it's just hanging. And then again, I used one of these carpets, but I thought, wouldn't that be kind of cool? And I did it in such a way to make it look like a lovely tapestry hanging from the background in itself. Again, adding a bit more color because it's all gray stone. Then here, these don't come with this. I actually had to individually put candles in. That was a bit of a pain, I'm not gonna lie, and sit them in there. But I wanted that because look at these faces. Aren't they fantastic? I mean, they're just amazing when you look at the detail and everything. And they look like kind of like they're either in agony or they're screaming or yelling, kind of like a banshee type facial look about them. I just thought, man, that looks really good. And then we added some spider webs here make it quite, you know, look like someone hasn't been here for a long time, or if they have been, they haven't been doing a very good job with the upkeep when it comes to dusting, put it that way. And again, we have some furniture over here that I mentioned, and some, you know, figurine, either statues, that kind of thing, some different rugs to go with, and then we have these draped curtains here and there, just adding a pop of color. All right, now what we're going to do before we go anywhere and go into the main hall, there's actually, believe it or not, behind here, and I put these curtains here and sort of carpeted here because you'll see these stairs and you're like, what the heck? But it looks like it's solid. And again, I want to hide it. I don't want to make it quite obvious, but yes, you can actually go in here. Now, if I get close enough, there we go. And it's into this specific room. All right, now, again, lots of this kind of neutral grayish stone color, which looks really interesting, and it's all kind of carved and detailed. But I wanted a bit of color, and how did I do that? Well, I used these different types of hanging Daedric chandeliers, which are fantastic. And even though they're Daedric, they kind of work with that Talon type brazier design because of the sort of talon claw look, I guess you could say, when you're looking at them. I liked the color that they omit and showcase the walls and highlight more detail with the stone itself. And again, these are the specific types of curtains that you can get for the zone for the vampiric kind of look. Now, this was kind of interesting. I wanted to go with the natural candle type look with those Daedric type of chandeliers, but I thought, you know, these are Alinor, but they really do work. They look fantastic, and they're on the taller stand. There's two types. There's a short stand, and then there's the taller stand, and I went with the taller ones just to give it a bit more height, you know, and it comes with the cluster of 4 candles as is. And so if you have that pattern, they're fantastic, both the short and the tall, and you can mix and match them as you like. Some people are strict about that, and they're like, no way, I'm only doing the one type, which is okay, you can do that, but keep in mind you're going to be kind of limited though, because each of the different classes and races and whatnot, they only have specific pieces and only so many of those pieces. They don't make all the same throughout, and this is where you might be a little bit stuck and you might have some problems. So you will have to do a little bit of mixing and matching and see if you can find something that works. And again, because I thought this is an interesting kind of room, I thought, well, this can be either a partial experimental type torture room and or showcasing different species. So what we're going to do is go around and look at this. We have, you know, bookshelves, obviously. We have some different species of skeleton heads, and again, just for interest and color and give it a bit more vibrancy, I guess you could say, about it, added some of these lovely different busts. And this is if you go into the housing editor, for example, that would be considered under the class where you have collectible furnishings. You have up to 110. So that includes pieces like that, as well as, for example, if you play the game, you'll notice there are different paintings that you can collect as well. They become available, you know, every month kind of thing. So they have the small little statuettes and whatnot. Now the busts, for example, you have to get by finishing different dungeons and whatnot, and there's the different types. So for example, if you want this one, which is the bust of Bogdan, the Night Flame, well, you'd have to do like the different dungeons to unlock that kind of thing. And then you have also the different trophies as well you can collect doing that too. I really like these different candles. Those, again, it's amazing. You would think really flour, but yeah, you use a lot of flour, you use a lot of hardwood, you use a lot of multiple ingredients depending on what is required to make this stuff. Now, I like these bookshelves in particular, the vampiric bookcase, not only because of the particular shape, but they come with books, which is really cool. So you don't have to fill them in, right? Because you'll notice some of these different bookshelves, you'll be like, I really like that. No, I have to put all these books in there. And unless you are kind of have a bit of a steady hand and a good eye, it can be a bit tricky sometimes. And then we have these different candles, and then the vampiric, for example, flask, the double stand. Again, you can get that from different drops and whatnot. This one I thought was pretty cool, and I just added it in here. You don't have to, but for my case, I thought, yeah, why not? I put in this wheelbarrow with bones, kind of a collection of, and then I put in these lovely cages here to hold our victims, you know, that might be drained of blood from these vampires. You don't know what the scenario is. And again, went with more of these Eleanor candles, but these were nice too. So these are these scone candles. And again, these are the shorter variety, but they have really long one as well, a tall one that you can get too. But they look fantastic. They're great. They do a good job highlighting. Again, so you see a lot of detail with this lovely particular victim, I mean skeleton. And then again, this is, for example, one of these types of different paintings that you can collect. And I thought, oh wow, that looks good. I like the coloring. It suits it. It's kind of creepy in itself. And then we have, again, these vampiric sideboard long tables. I like these. These are nice. They're not super wide, but they do a good job. And I wanted to showcase again different samples of perhaps what this kind of collector, curator, whatever you want to call him, vampiric fellow does with his specimens and species and whatnot. Hence we have his table. And again, these are the smaller Eleanor candle stands. But I mean, the lighting, you can't beat it. It just has that total vibe if you're going to go with this whole vampiric thing. And oddly enough, what I like about it too is the wood coloring is very, very close in color. And I mean, it just looks fantastic together. Again, because this guy's a curator, so you have here from the different furnishing pack that went with those other stone pieces that I showed showcasing earlier, the dragon chest, the ancient Nord chest. But I like that because it has the dragons on there. It looks antique with kind of the antique gold or brass, depending on what you want to call it. And then we have, again, history of Zan the Scaler. And then we have this lovely vampiric goblet full of blood and skeleton head, that kind of thing. Again, more bookshelves because this guy has a lot of reading to do and a lot of spare time, obviously. We have, you know, an urn here. Again, some more samples, more blood, whatnot. Urn. You have this Daedrat here, because why not? And I love these. These are fantastic. If you can get a hold of these are sample specimen jars. So I thought, might as well do that because, well, not only is he draining them, but probably wanting to use some of these as samples to go with his collection. Who knows? You never know. Got some herbs and stuff and that are in the back there. Again, another painting. And I love these vampiric cabinet. Now what I did is I combined these two so it made it kind of one nice unit like that. And if you have a very good eye, I've done that with many pieces and people are like, where did you get that piece? And I've never seen that particular piece. And I'm like, that's because there's either one or two or even up to 4 pieces that I've combined and made one big nice solid piece of furniture. And people are like, oh, I love that. I like how that worked out. Same with that. I doubled up the book cases as well. I kind of like that because if you have the single standalone, it looks okay, don't get me wrong, but like look at how wide that particular area, and you want to keep that in mind when you're decorating, right? Things have to look good to the eye, otherwise your brain's like, something's off, it doesn't make sense, it looks weird. Yeah, scale is very, very important. Positioning is very, very important. Lighting and coloring is very, very important. Why? Because again, we're setting the tone, we're setting the mood, we're making it look what we're going for with the actual theme. So in this case, we're going with this whole vampiric kind of castle and everything. So you wouldn't have all these bright, lovely colors. I mean, who knows? Maybe you might have a vampire that likes that kind of thing. But I was kind of trying to go more traditional, I guess you could say. Hence the kind of creepy vibe. And if you know me and you've been to my streams, especially during the whole month of October, where I do a huge thing for the entire month for Halloween. I do it up to the 9 and I dress up, I have costumes, and yeah, I decorate to the 9. And I love doing that in real life. I like doing that with dioramas, and I like doing that with these different ESO builds, as well as other games. For example, Conan Exiles is an excellent game where if you like to do building and design, you can do a lot of cool stuff with that game as well. You can with some others, but kind of limited. I would have to say out of most building games, Conan Exiles that you can actually play kind of like Elder Scrolls Online is fantastic for building. ESO, you're doing more kind of, I don't want to sound bad saying this because some people might cringe a little bit, but you're basically decorating. And some people are like, you're just playing house. Well, I mean, that's one way of looking at it, I suppose. But I don't care. It's my way of like expressing myself, decorating, and having fun. This one's really cool. This is a poison satchel. And I thought, oh, this is really, really good. I like that. And again, we have some different urns, jars, that kind of thing. And then again, even though these are from Fargrave, they're fantastic. I love the plants. I like the colors. I like the samples. I thought, oh, this looks really, really cool. And again, you want to add some interest. So these bookshelves, they all come with books, but there's a couple different places where you can place different items. And that's what I did. I took advantage of that. So you can put, for example, some test tubes. So that's what I did there. Or you could just do like the different little jar specimens and whatnot. And again, you want to make sure your colors look nice and kind of are harmonious overall, so it makes sense. And it's just like, it's like you walk in, it's like kapow, you're like, wow, like look at, there's so many things to look at, and when you take the time and you really look, you're like, wow, this really looks good. And because like look at how tall these walls are. Like I can't even put, if you even tried to put a brazier, there's like, I mean, you can if you want, but it would be lost because it would just highlight just up there. And so what a lot of people do is they'll bring it down. But if you're a nitpick, you'll be like, wait a second, that chain isn't attached all the way up to the very top of the ceiling. And I know some people who are picky and they will be like really looking to see how you place it. And they're very particular. Again, we went with this lovely kind of dark grand sigil vampiric carpet. Again, didn't want to take away too much from the floor pattern. I like that, but we are setting kind of like a tone, and this really frames it. It makes your eyes focus on what it is you want to really look at, right? And it tells a picture in 1,000 words, just instantly looking at that going, wow, okay, this is cool. This is what this room is about. You know, you get kind of a better idea as you go along. Now over here, again, didn't have to, but again, thought I'd throw in these different kind of bones, different textures, right? So not only colors, but make sure you have different textures, scales, that kind of thing too. Add some interest and whatnot. Some different busts, different color, here, there, whatever. And again, just coffin case. And it doesn't come with that lovely witch's corpse that's wrapped. I just placed it in there and whatnot. And then at the back, again, otherwise it's too dark, we added more of these Eleanor candles and just framed it from the back. Now the cool thing is, you would think, okay, that's it. Nice. But there's more. As you will see in just a moment. Now, let me get out here. Let's go to the upper chamber. All right, so now we are in the upper chamber. Again, here, what I decided to do is, since this is a vampire house, And probably there are a lot of people who used to live in this house. And as you saw outside the house, probably not too many places you could bury these coffins because it's a lot of rock, right? Well, I solved that problem by displaying them all up here. And again, we have more of the candlelight, again, making it really eerie and gloomy. And I put these in here, again, for scale and interest. These are Daedric cage hanging. I mean, they don't have to be there, but I thought, you know, they kind of work. And then we have off to the side these different Daedric sarcophagus, stone. I like them. And to make it a little bit different and eerie, we went with the Daedric candle set, right? The ritual set. Because we don't know what's going on here. We have some urns. And at the time, I liked the Elsewhere pieces. I know it's kind of a little bit out there, but again, I'm trying to find colors that match, kind of go, and because you look at the different detail that's on the floor and like kind of like, they're not really, well, I don't know, it's like etched stone. I was going to say tile. They kind of look like that, but again, you see the shape and the patterns, how it's kind of have that curvature. Well, look at, if you look at that closely, how the curves kind of match, which is different in its own self, but it has that kind of romantic kind of vibe to it, I guess you could say. So I put these different benches on either side. Again, some more lighting. And then some tapestries as well. We have of Azura. And then what is this? I love this. Now these are two pieces. And again, you have to put one inside the other one. They don't come as a set. So you have the urn, which is broken. And then this lovely guy who's in there as well. This kind of shriveled up mummy. And that was kind of a pain trying to place them in there. But it looks really good. And then I had some of these other different types of urns. So we put the Daedric type urn. And again, we have another Daedra rat. I'm assuming there's probably rats in an old castle kind of like this. You never know, right? Some urns again. And then another one. But this time, this mummy is a little bit different. Instead of holding kind of like a scroll like the other one you saw, it's kind of just leaning back like this, and it's all mummified and whatnot. And I thought, oh, that looks fantastic. Really, really good. And so this style of urn is, oh, I don't have the big one here, but it's like much taller. And you'll see those as you go throughout the game and whatnot. And again, I wanted to add some interest. You have these tall pillars. I thought that was kind of different. And yeah, I could have probably put some other types of braziers and made it really, really bright. But I didn't want to. I put these braziers in because I like the smoke effect that they kind of give off. You can see it more on the left one because this one's highlighted. It's hard to see. But I wanted it kind of like incense type idea, but like more with the ash burnings idea. And again, I didn't want to have too much focus of the light because again, it's supposed to be dark, it's supposed to be dreary, it's supposed to be spooky, right? Kind of creepy vibes. And again, with more spider webs and the candlelight. And then as you go throughout here, I'll put more candles and spider webs. Webs, webs, webs. And then I sunk these again in on either side just so you can see where you're going. I mean, you don't have to. I originally had it dark, but I thought, you know, I kind of like it a little bit lit up. Let's go through here. Now, first thing you see is, my God, what is that? This evil. So it's a target, but it's, yeah, the Harrowing Reaper. And again, I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. I need it. It looks so cool. And we have more of these lovely bats around it and everything. And I just was like, yes, yes, yes. So I added that. But this was originally all plain Jane because that's how the house is. Let me just zoom out here. Again, we have more of these Talon type braziers, again highlighting these arches and the architecture and whatnot and the grandeur of like the height. And then over here again, because there's like sort of like a curvature, little alcove area, I guess you could say. And I thought, well, this is perfect. Let's put the target in there and sink it back a little bit. And then have her kind of like looking at you when you walk through. So it has that kind of creepy vibe about it. And again, I wanted to do this. Look at this. So I added these trees again, add more interest and go with the same kind of archways that you have continuing throughout here. And it just looks really fab, I think. And I put the trees again, so it kind of has that shape to it without like it being made out of stone either. And I thought, wow, that's a really cool way to frame it. And then again, I added these type of trees because they had the red, which are these the ash flower, the twisted tree. And again, I like that because they're all kind of shriveled and dead looking, but that hint of pop of red color with the flowers themselves, it looks fantastic. Now again, we have the same over here because we wanted it to match before you go up to that area. But as you can see, there's like a whole bunch of spider webs, but not only that, but there's a whole bunch of spider eggs. And you're like, my God, that's a big spider, obviously. And well, I decided to go with that theme. And this is the end result, which is very creepy. So you see the spider head in there. And again, I wanted it to pop so you can see it because there's two types of lighting going on. There's a brazier, which is good, and it showcases the actual big egg sac itself kind of thing and the outer detail, but then you won't see what's really inside it. And I really wanted that to pop. And in order for that to do that, and then you have these scattered bones all throughout, like her kind of victims that she's been busy chewing on and numbing on. Now that, if you're wondering, how the heck did you get a spider in there? There's a trick, okay? So there are two things. If you like this effect, it has that special type of Daedric candle, hence why it's kind of like that bluish glow. So that's in there, as well as you have one of those head mounts that you can get from the different dungeons that you do. If I go into that, here we go. So I sunk it in far enough, and then just the head shows. You don't see like the back wooden platter, and then you'll see I just put ever so just above it, right? But when you're farther enough away, it highlights it, and that's the effect. Oh my goodness, Paulina! Hello! Hi! I hope you're doing well. Raid! Hello, 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 and welcome, Raiders. Thank you so much. How was your stream? Hello, and good to see you. Yes. How have you been? What have you been up to? I'm sorry I missed your stream. I got on and then I was noticing, oh, there's some people I recognize, but I thought, oh, she's busy. I'll have to send her a message maybe on Discord saying, hi, I saw you. So, but yeah, no, we're just showcasing a lovely house here that I have designed and decorated on Elder Scrolls Online. So those of you who like this type of game or are curious about design and building as a whole and how to get certain effects and learn about tips and tricks and all the details that go with it, by all means, you've come to the right place. And maybe you can take away some of this information and maybe apply it not only to this game, but any other games that you'd like to do, any decoration, design, or building. So busy, but try to have fun along the way. How have you been? Same. I would say probably same. I know it's the short answer, but it's the truth, to be honest. You know, adulting, the whole thing. life in general. Just busy, but good. Keeping busy. I took a bit of a break, to be honest, from streaming, but I'm glad to be back though, because I missed it, and I miss, like, you know, different people who have, you know, similar interests as myself, i.e. gaming and whatnot. And I miss the community, I'm not gonna lie, right? I miss my peeps. I feel that. Yeah, I was so excited to see you on. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Yes. I saw some of your videos. I think it was a while ago. You went to a bunch of different, I think it was like in your off time though. I think it was a couple different clubs or something like that. You recorded some of that. I think you had it posted on your Discord if I remember correctly. I was just like, oh yeah, she's having fun, partying it up. And then you had some sweet pictures, I think, over, what was it, Easter as well. That was really sweet. Oh yeah, I love going to dance and whatnot. Yeah, I do too. COVID kind of squashed that a bit, obviously. And then you get older and you kind of like, I don't know if I should still be doing this. But, you know, if I'm with the right group of people, I don't care. I'll just go. Who cares? Yeah, so this is a vampire kind of castle. It's huge. It's massive, in case we're wondering. And I was kind of showcasing some stuff at the beginning. Just started kind of the tour down below and whatnot, and just have gone up to the second level here. And it just looks really creepy. And as you guys know, if you're followers of Paulina, and she knows this too, both of us are huge Halloween fans, and we like decorating, and we like kind of dressing up and whatnot, so... And I do that in different ways, especially either Halloween and or Christmas. I try and do the holidays up right, you know? And then I also apply it to games like this. So if you like building games, if you like crafting, oh geez, if you like... Actually, both of us are kind of similar, I'd have to say, because you like doing stuff with Lego, you like painting and crafting some stuff. You've done that in the past as well. And you probably play more retro games than I do. Like, I do like playing retro games, but I just don't showcase them. I probably should. I was thinking maybe actually, if I could, maybe some Guitar Hero. I haven't played that forever, but I love that game. It's so much fun. It's awesome. Yeah, so if you guys kind of like that kind of thing, I also play games like, for example, Elder Scrolls a lot, Witcher's another one. I'm a variety streamer, so I try like indie games, some retro games, some newer games. I'm currently playing on PlayStation, PS4 Pro. I don't have a PS5. I have Nintendo Switch, OLED, and PC. Are you possibly looking at getting the newest Switch, Paulina? Because I know you play a lot of Nintendo stuff. Yeah, you and I have some pretty similar interests. Yeah. Definitely. But I don't play like I have older systems, I just don't have them hooked up. I probably should do that one of these days. You know what I mean? It's on the list of to do. I want to, but I'm probably going to wait for a limited time console. Yeah, it gives me time to save up. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, the one that I have, I didn't have the original Nintendo Switch, and I was like you, and then I waited, and I'm like, oh, look at that, they have the one that came out, which is the OLED version, and so I got that one, and I love it. It's fantastic. The new one looks interesting, like the different aspects, what you can do. It's kind of interesting, but I don't know if I heard that correctly. I remember I was reading some article. It wasn't too long ago, actually. And it looks like Nintendo. I don't know if I like the way that they're going with certain things, though. I think they were talking... I could be wrong, but... whatchamacallit? They're... No, I don't know. I could be wrong, but this is what I read just recently. So maybe someone has falsified this. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys know better. But I remember reading this one article, and this one fellow was saying how Nintendo itself, it looks like they're going to try and get away from cartridges altogether. And so if you want any type of Nintendo games, looks like in future they're going to start kind of going away from that, and then it's basically you just download the games onto the new system. Don't know. However, if you are an avid collector or you like some of the old games and everything, you might want to think about that and collect those games while you still can, because once they're gone, that's it, right? You had the yellows. Oh, Switchlight. Yeah. And then when the Animal Crossing one came out, oh, you grabbed that one. Oh, nice. Oh no, that's going to start a whole trickle effect of getting rid of physical copies. Exactly. I don't know when that's going to go into effect. So your guess is as good as mine. Not sure. But I read that, and if that's the case, that kind of sucks. I don't like that. I don't know, maybe I'm just old school. There's something about an actual physical hard copy. I mean, you can say, it's mine! And the other thing, which is cool too, that a lot of people forget, is if you have that, you can still play the game, right? Unlike if you have a digital copy, if they stop supporting, that's it, right? So, things to keep in mind. But everybody's different. Some people are like, Jibs, I just don't have the time or the space to keep all these hard copies. I want digital. That's all I want. But yeah. I love these flowers. They're just amazing. They look like they're kind of bat-shaped as well. I kind of went with a theme, as you can kind of see, with the webs and the Daedric chandeliers, whatnot. Let's continue on. And this, I was explaining, is a target, but I just love this. And the bats and everything else. Who knows? Maybe a costume idea for Halloween. And then I was just showcasing here, in case you missed it, Big Mama spider here. Hidden away, tucked in their little victims down below. The houses themselves, some you can get. You pay a little bit extra if you're playing on the Elder Scrolls Online with Bethesda, and you can get Bethesda to have some of it already filled up with some furnishings. But I like to get them completely plain slate, and I like to do it my own way. Happy early Mother's Day, Mama Spider! Exactly, and for you too. Are you doing anything special for that? Are they taking you out? For din-dins? Someplace nice, hopefully. And prezzies, maybe. I like how I did this with the spider web effect. It's kind of creepy as you're walking through. I swear my character, she probably looks like she's not even 2 feet tall from this perspective. She is taller. But that's just a terrible angle. Nah, my family always wants to get together, but low-key, I always want to stay home and chill. You know, that's cool too. As well, I hope you pamper yourself. Paulina, seriously. All you mums out there, take advantage of the day. Get dad to sit. Take care of the kids. You know? Maybe just get a mani-pedi for yourself. Go to a spa. That's nice. And if you can, have a nice relaxing dinner. You know? It's all about you guys that day. And then what do we have here? Oh yes, and then we have our lovely victims that are caught up in the webs here. And again, wanted to go with this whole archway theme. Kind of consistency going on here with these plants. These dead trees. The coloring, the purples, the reds, the stone. And then this is dun dun dun. The Eerie. Alright, so this is the living quarter area, I guess you could say. Oh yes, for sure. I wish I had a big bathtub, right? To soak in. I still use bath bombs, but I'm just missing the depth of a nice tub. I know! But you know what? Okay, even if you have... This is what irks me. I'm not gonna lie. Even if you have a bathtub, you notice, why is this? And well, I know partially why, but I still don't agree with it. You fill the water up so high, yeah? And then there's this one little area on the bathtub that sucks in the water so it doesn't overflow, which makes sense, but it still sucks because when you go into it, you're like, really? I wanted it really high, like lots and lots of water. It's just not the same. Have you seen some of those videos of some people? They go all out with their extreme makeover bathrooms. They have bath bombs going on, then they have like colorful LED lights that float in the bathtub, and then their bubble bath things going, and then they have, what is it, RGB lighting, and it's just crazy, some of the things. And they have it all set up with all their nummy treats and books, and even some people, I'm like, are you serious? They have like a whole little mini projector set up, and so they can just watch a movie while in the tub, which I think is a fantastic idea, but I wouldn't want to accidentally splash and wreck that, but you know what I mean. Like, my god, if only you had that kind of time to do all that setup. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't know if I can pull that off myself. Oh, I know, that's too insane for me. Maybe if I played games in there or watched shows, I would. Yeah, I used to play Animal Crossing for hours in the tub in my last rented place. Oh, really? I would be nervous about oops, splash. I'd be crying if I accidentally dropped anything or got water and it became waterlogged and whatnot. I don't know, maybe I'm too overly cautious. But yeah, it does look pretty cool. I'm just doing a bit of a walking tour here so you guys have an idea. So there's the cat, and I always like to set up a scene. It's looking at these two bats that are flying, hence why it's like looking like it's trying to pounce and get the two different bats. Yep. You see how it's like, it's got its eye on those two bats up there. I always try and do that. Every room I try and do kind of a little scene with the different non-combat pets to give it a little bit more life and a bit of a story background behind it too. We have like a dining area here as well, in this specific kind of room. Really neat paintings. Honestly, I don't know why they even have a vampire mirror, but I was just like, well, maybe before they turned they used it, but not anymore so much. Oh, no worries, Paulina. You probably had a very long day, so I hear you. Don't worry about that. I just want to say thank you so much for dropping by. It's always a pleasure hanging out and catching up with you. And also those of you who came in on the raid, thank you so very much, guys. That's so fantastic. And by all means, if you like this or anything else and you'd like to watch more of these types of streams, by all means, you're more than welcome to follow and watch and lurk. But if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate whatsoever. Throw your questions in chat. That's what it's there for. We're all here to like learn and bounce ideas off of each other and that kind of thing. Not only with this game, but any other games. I'm always curious what you guys are playing, and if you guys have some cool suggestions, I'm up for that. Like, why not? Yeah, this lovely creepy music box playing this melody. Isn't this bed fantastic? My gosh. Canopy beds are pretty interesting in their own right, but this one is pretty neat. I like how that's all like carved wood in the design. And the trunk and whatnot too. It's really cool. And obviously because they're vampires, they haven't been sleeping on the bed for a while. It's been some time. Then we added some interest again. Here we have a bunch of these Daedric chandeliers. Again, wanted to add a bunch of colors. We did that with these different carpets, rug areas, and draping, and these different pieces of these different specimen flora in here, different paintings, and then again more of these interesting kind of, they look like bat wings, like I think that's actually the type. No, the hitbox isn't getting it. What is it? Oh yeah, it is the sullen purple bat blooms flower. So yeah, I was correct. But again, I wanted to kind of not, I wanted sort of, excuse me, an open concept, but you can't see exactly all the way through. You can see some of it, and you still have to walk around, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I really like this. Turned out pretty cool. I like it. I hope you guys enjoyed this too. And we're going to continue on doing some more of the tour. Now let's go back down, because we have a lot more to see. This place is massive. Like, look at how tall this is. Again, I'm going to apologize for some of you who might have like fear of heights. I know that when I first played this game, some of the things I had to jump, and that really affected me visually as well as my tummy. I was like, whoa. Keep that in mind if you're not good with heights. Who knows, you might have some vertigo kind of things going on when you look at this. Like, my god, look at how far down. It is massive. Whole cavernous area. Caves goes all the way up. Have these big pieces here. These lovely, huge, lit up, luminescent mushrooms. Again, on this side, because you're on this rickety kind of bridge, right? And just to give you an idea down below, but it's just massive, this place. Like, look at that. Huge. Enormous. Okay, let's go through the cobwebs. Ugh. Ugh, sticky. Oh, more of them. Ugh. Ugh. Alright. Now, let's go downstairs. We were down there originally, and we had to go all the way up. And now we're going back down. And again, you have all these urns. These different kind of mummified bodies. If you missed it. Look really good. And lots of spider webs. Another one. I like this. Looks really good. Super cool. Deedrat. What I especially like about ESO, now, okay, granted, when I was growing up, I didn't have capability to play the earlier, or the other chapters of Elder Scrolls at the time on PC. And, as you know, bit by bit, it looks like Bethesda is going to be doing that. They're going to be kind of re-rendering a bunch of those older games, right? And I think they're going to even be doing that to even Skyrim. I think that's another one that they're going to do too. Here's a sample room that I showcased a little bit earlier. If you missed it, you can always go back and look in the video. I went into it in a little bit more detail. I'm just quickly kind of scanning so you have an idea what it's all about. Those of you who raided and came in, thank you. Alright, now we're going to go into the main entry hall. Again, this is just massive and huge. You'll see what I'm talking about. These huge braziers. Those are the front doors. My god. I don't think I would want the job of being a janitor or a maid. The amount of dusting. That's all I gotta say is a lot. Alright. Let us continue on. We didn't do this part, so this is going to be a little bit different. Again, wanted to make it interesting, spooky. Look like no one's been here for a while, hence all the different cobwebs. Kept it really dark, but had a little bit of lighting. Again, more of these Eleanor candles on the tall stands. And the draping here and there. The Daedric chandelier, in case you guys were kind of curious what those are. Again, height with the different plants. And then as we kind of walk through before we go into the main hall kind of area, I guess you could say. And we have some more different miniature statuettes. Pretty cool. Of the different kind of gods. Want to look at it that way. Daedric. Well, there's our hellhound walking the perimeter. Doggy. I like the fact that you can actually do that. It's really neat. If you have any of your non-combat pets, you can do that and choose where you want them to go, how the pathing and whatnot, which is really nice effect. Alright, let's go inside. Oh, I see more bats. Bats everywhere! Flying here and there. Now this I had, and I liked using these because again, the grandeur, the height, and everything else. Now these are Daedric, and they are from Cold Harbor kind of area. You'll notice that, and these are bookcases that are filled. And what I like about them, they have soul gems in here. Pretty neat, as well as books. And then you have a whole bunch of these different scrolls. I thought that was kind of cool. And again, you have so much height. There's the pathing. That's just for that hellhound walking around. And I wanted to add a bit more light. So we went with, again, these braziers. And then some of these Daedric chandeliers. But I wanted, again, more of this kind of shadow effect. More candle-like effect, I guess you could say. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. I like adding a bunch of different types of plants to different areas. Some people are like, I'm not a plant person. You're not going to see me put that in builds. But there's something about adding some extra little details and touches with the texture that makes it more interesting to the eye. Otherwise, after a while, it just looks plain and flat and boring. This is the sunken in piece, which is actually Redguard. You're kind of curious. I went with this in case you were wondering, going, well, why? Because I'm trying to hide the base part because, well, I don't want it just sticking through the floor. And I thought it'd be kind of a nice way to hide that. And this is the brass, I think it's copper fence, Redguard fence. Yeah. And I went with that again because the shape, it's got kind of those curved arches that go with, look at that. Matchy-matchy a little bit, but that's okay. Yet it's not the same piece. It's not even vampiric at all, but it works. And again, I went with the vampiric, again, furniture as much as I could here and there. So we have the different lamps. And I found some chandeliers that I thought worked a little bit better, so I mixed and matched those with whatever I had. These are from Fargrave, but there was just something about them. I liked how they we're levitating and just floating around here, there, whatever, and kind of has this sort of mystical, magical feel. You never know, right? I just thought for visual interest, why not? And then in the little cubby areas, we have different seating or kind of like study areas. And then this is, I kind of envisioned this as a main hall where you never know. You have a big council type meeting with all the different family members of this vampiric kind of community, maybe getting together and discussing about different things and whatnot. I love this music box. Again, this is from Fargrave, but it's fantastic. I love the detail, and it's got that kind of creepy, spooky tone to it, and I thought that's perfect. And then we have, again, these non-combat characters that are around it and kind of curious, like, what's going on? What's making this thing tick? Hence we have a couple of them here. This one, he's kind of like in a mummy type outfit. He's like, what is that? Kind of curious, smacking the box. What's making the noise? This was a pain, I'm not gonna lie. This is not one big table. I had to put all these tables together, 2, 4, 6, 8 of them, and line them all up to make one huge banquet table. And then we have they're kind of like, yeah, they're pews, and I like that instead of just typical chairs that you see all the time. I wanted something a little bit different, and I thought, again, with the scale and the grandeur of this area, it kind of works. If you have a character and you want to sit in there, you can easily sit 2 players per pew. You'd think it'd be 3. Maybe it might fit 3, but I know usually on the benches in Elder Scrolls Online, they usually only make it for 2 players, and then there's a big space in between. I don't know why they do that, but they do. Alright. And again, wanted this kind of like aura, natural effect, highlighting, but not giving away too much, but being overly bright, because, well, it's supposed to look kind of spooky and creepy and aged and that kind of thing. Again, huge pain in the butt putting those tiny little candles in those mouths, but it looks good. It highlights the detail in the faces. A few more of these gargoyles, again, on either side before you head up and out to the next area, which is behind that door right over there. And then I love this guy. He's a bit different than these gargoyles. Huge piece. And if you're wondering, how the heck did you get that to be glowing? Does it go like that? No. I had to find one of these light up crystals, embed it, combine the 2, and then put it up there. It was a huge pain, I'm not gonna lie. And those of you who have had to put quill feather pens in the ink know what I'm talking about, to get it on the right angle, fit it in and everything so it doesn't look gimpy and weird. Huge pain. It's very nitpicky, to say the least. But once it's done and it looks good, it's worth it. Okay. Now this I did completely different. I wanted to have a really big garden. I wanted to have a kind of different tree as a focal point. This tree in particular, you might see if you play in Clockwork City, right? Because it has that brassy effect. And it says it's the cobalt oak fabricant tree. And I liked that. I like the fact that the leaves themselves are kind of that blue. Even though it's not the same blue that you see on the mushrooms, it still looks pretty cool because it kind of harmonizes with the other colors without taking away from the brighter mushrooms in the background that you see there. I like the fact that the fabricant tree itself has that kind of metallic look to it. It's kind of, how would I describe it? An antique sort of brass or like an older gold look about it, which looks really cool. And again, it's this huge height about it, works for this area. And I thought, okay, let's have like a little fenced in sitting area. And then around the edges here, I put in different samples of crystals and mushrooms and whatnot that I thought would be kind of interesting and glowing, because you see a lot of those glowing mushrooms, but let's kind of keep the theme with different glowing effects as well. Now, this is part of a furnishing pack. We have Azura over here, obviously. And I thought, isn't this kind of cool? And she has her hands normally like that, and there is no plant. I put that plant in there. And then to give it added extra light instead of just the little light that's kind of floating around the actual plant itself, this gloom spore ghost fungus. So those are the little spores that you see kind of floating. I thought, well, let's give some light to it, and we'll add this bright moon's lunar moth kind of attracted to it, you know? And there we go with Azura. And then the different statues on either side. And these pieces are fantastic as we come up to them. Before we do, we have, again, over here, some more chairs and table and a sitting area. Some light reading. And again, these are fantastic. Love these plants. I love the animation, the color. It just goes so nicely. And again, you can get these at the specialty furnisher. They are only available every so often. When you see them, grab them. It's worth it. They are really interesting. They're huge pieces. And if you have like a very neat, intricate fantasy type garden, well, I think they're perfect for that. These are the Dark Shade Glow Stalks Inquisitive. I picked up a couple of those. And then we have the other types of mushrooms. And again, I have it highlighted, so in case you guys are curious, what mushroom is that? What is it called, kind of thing? And that's what they are. And then we have even some small little versions here. The simple toadstool kind of type of mushroom. Glowing plants. And then again, just another cluster over here. More of these interesting mushrooms. Now keep in mind when you're doing this, the reason why it looks nice, this arrangement, even though there's a lot of pieces, well, again, what you want to do is you want to work on the scale. You don't want everything all the same height. That looks weird and dorky. You don't want them all short, all tall, all medium, because it doesn't look as nice. You want to kind of alter the different heights. But again, the larger pieces need to be in the back, because if you have small pieces, they're going to be not seen if they're in the background, right? And you just layer them and cluster them in such a way. And you're working with, again, different types of textures. You have some spiky, and then some porous type textures. And then the lighting and the colors. As you see, some of the lighter plants that light up, they highlight, again, features, details on these mushrooms, and makes it really like pop, right? Which looks super cool. And even though I showed you guys, they have, I can't, it's just so short. How do I do this here? I'm going to use my pointer staff. Okay, This that I'm pointing at back there, I showed you at the very, very beginning. That's what these are. But Bethesda, for whatever reason, they do not have available that I have seen anyways. In that color, that kind of orangey gold. They only have it in the blue. But that's okay, because the blue works really well with those types of mushrooms, right? And I thought, well, why not? Let's incorporate it. And again, it's another way of lighting up a dark area, giving it some interest, some pop of color, and some life. Continuing on with these braziers, again, highlighting the extra detail in the archways and whatnot. And on either side, kind of mirroring each other, we have some different seating areas as well. Enjoy the gardens. You never know who lived here. It probably looked beautiful at one point. And this is the other thing, when you're designing and you're putting things together, you're trying to kind of tell a story and give it, I guess in a sense, a bit of life, right? And this I collected and I thought, oh, that's fantastic. This is a blood fountain. We're at a vampire like castle. You gotta have some reference to blood every once in a while, you know. And then we have again here coming out through the cracks. You never know, dust, dirt, whatnot. Again, either side of the seating area of this fountain. Maybe that fountain didn't have blood. Maybe it's a cursed fountain. We don't know, right? It could be whatever you want it to be. And then we have more spider webs, that kind of thing. And then the last area just here at the end. Going up all these stairs. Again, wanted to highlight this with this type of brazier in the center. And again, more spots for seating, but again, with more of these tall types of plants and candles and whatnot. Just did it this way. And since they have 3 different spots, we had those 2 similarly. We have the Daedric chandelier type brazier style up top, and then this variation we put in this. Didn't want them all the same purple plants, wanted a little bit of variety of color, and just made it more interesting. So this is the center focal point, whereas the other were from the other sides, as you saw, the purple plants. Again, you can do it however you wish. This is just my envisionment of what I thought if I literally lived in this vampiric castle, how I would do it. But you can do whatever you want. That's the great thing about this. Look at those mushrooms. Like, isn't that beautiful? Just really, really stunning. And this is an underground, like, cavernous cave where this is located. I'll go over to this side so you guys can see what's over here. She's kind of short. Maybe I have to go up top. Hold on. Let's see. She's so tiny. She's not a wood elf. She's like a dark elf too. Jump! I'll try and find a better vantage point so you guys can check it out here. Hold on. Maybe I can jump onto the pew, but it might be blocked. I don't want her to sit, because if I press X, which is jump, she'll do that. Ugh. I don't know if you can see. Oh, there you go. There. Again, all these caves. My goodness. Like, look, that's how tall this huge place is. It just keeps going up and up and up and up. And we were up there. It's just massive. If you want a statement house, this is definitely one of those houses that will say, yes, I have a very large house. Yes, I can host many people here. Definitely. And yeah, this is what I did for the garden idea. I think it actually looks really nice. There's some movement, color, again, different textures, whole bunch of stuff going on. But I think it really works. It makes it kind of interesting too. And yet doesn't take away from the grandeur of this huge house, right? All right. Let us go back in. Ugh, webs. And again, you wanted a good idea of this huge, massive, grand hall idea. Well, this is what it looks like. There's the hellhound. Checking to make sure everything is okay and safe and secure. All the lovely bats. Creepy music. I think it's got all the elements that you want for this house. If you ever want a really cool vampiric house, I don't know, guys. I think this might be the one. At least I thought so. There's the dragon. Or the vampire bats. Those are the main doors out to the front of the actual castle or mansion itself. I can't even imagine, like, if there were doors really that large in real life, I don't even know if you could even open that by yourself. That would be so heavy, I would think. Especially if it's not made out of wood. Even if it was made out of wood, it'd be very heavy. Here you go. There's the lovely entrance. I just think it looks really nice. And again, you can have 700 pieces. And I have 657. Not quite 700. I can always add more if I wish. You don't have to fill up the full 700, as well as the other pieces itself. Now, if you're wondering, okay, special furnishings, what the heck is that? That is a question I get asked actually quite a bit, believe it or not. And they're like, well, what's the difference between special furnishings versus collectible furnishings versus special collectibles? Like, special collectibles, aren't they kind of the same thing? No, they're not. Just for clarification's sake, I will show you guys quickly what that is about. Now, if you, for example, okay, special collectibles are all the, as I mentioned, if you have non-combat pets, if you have regular mounts, if you have, here, let me go to services in your house builder design, and you go into here, that would be someone like a zombie, right? Or Fezes, your banker, your merchant, right? Because they animate and do stuff, okay? Or if you have, say, for example, one of these like assistants, right, that you collect. Don't let the mask fool you. Any of these different house guests as well, right? That you can collect. You can put any of those in there as well.
Don't cause any trouble.
Now, okay, those are technically the special collectibles at the very bottom there. Now, special furnishings, a lot of people are like, well, okay, I put down, you go into miscellaneous, right? And it says when you go in there, the different things that are kind of particular. And you're thinking, well, they're miscellaneous. Wouldn't that kind of count because they're animated and they do stuff? I think so, but you have to be very careful because if you go and look on the right hand side, you will notice there's a description and it says there, furnishing behavior. It'll tell you if it's animated or not, or visual effects. And then underneath, furnishing limit type. This one is considered a traditional furnishings. However, as you scroll through, there's a couple like that, right? And then all of a sudden, it's still traditional. Bam! Special furnishing. Notice how that changed for the furnishing limit type. So if you want bubbles, for instance, you are doing an underwater scene, or maybe you have a huge fish tank and you want that kind of effect or something like that. Or maybe you have some sort of fantasy scene that you have in mind and thinking, oh, wouldn't that be kind of cool? I have a bathtub and all these bubbles come from it, or who knows, right? You can do whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, unless it specifically says under the furnishing limit type, special furnishings, that is the only time that you will notice like a 1, 2, 3, 4 has been used of that particular type. And there's only a few of them. This is one example. So the bubbles is one. Then it goes back to traditional. And the mist of Hag Raven, that's another one. If you want that kind of like creepy vibe with like a swampland type area or something to that effect, right? You could put this down and that would be great. These butterflies, no, those are traditional. Same with the, what is it? The candlefly. What's the word I'm looking for? Like glow bug idea kind of thing, right? Or, and then again, more traditional. Continuing. And then this is the other one, the steam. There's only a few. I don't know if they're going to make more. I really hope they do because I think that would be cool. But my goodness, so expensive if you're going to get them. That's 1,500 crowns. Again, you can't use in-house gold. You have to use real money, real life money to purchase the in-game currency that they use for this particular part of the furnishing, and they are called crowns. And then you have the different webs, and those are traditional as well. In case you guys were curious, you could do tons of the mist. You could do 10 different pieces of mist, and that would fill that up. But honestly, I'm not planning to do that for this. I don't think it's really needed. I'm okay with the spider webs. I mean, it might look kind of cool in some areas if that's what you're looking for, but it wouldn't really make sense because it's inside of a house. More of those kind of effects you would see probably, especially with the mist or fog outdoors, right? Because that's just how it works. If you're going to be realistic, I guess. If you don't care and you just like that effect, then yeah, go for it. Why not? And there you go. Okay, so back out into the courtyard. And then there we go. Back at the front of the house. That's just crazy. You're just like staring. My character just feels so minuscule in comparison to the rest of the scale of all this trees and statues and this house in particular. And again, if you missed it, I love these statues. They're fantastic. I can't stress this enough, but they're just awesome. You can get it in that one color. You can activate it in this lovely purple. and the flames. So you notice the eyes light up too, which is really neat. Or there's just a typical regular kind of style flames there. Or you could just have it where they're completely turned off and it's just plain by itself. Really, it's up to you. But because this is a vampire castle or house, whatever, mansion, I like the red, and then kind of has that foggy, misty effect, and then you have these swarming bats circling around it, and I thought that really suits it. Now, for example, I could, if I wanted to, put some maybe fog and mist maybe around here because it's close to some bodies of water. You'll see over here actually, but because it's so large and it's so grand, unless you're actually going to those specific areas, it kind of gets lost, unfortunately. I love that. Like, look at these waterfalls. You see that? It's beautiful. Coming down. And you can go up there if you wish. But yeah. Really nice house. If you guys get a chance and you see it and you like it and it becomes available, I don't know, maybe this might be the house for you. Never know. I mean, there's guilds even, for example, that are werewolf, and or you can have your character as a vampire, which this character I am currently showcasing and playing with is. And all the different houses that I have collected so far, I did it in such a way that each character has kind of their own place of their own, as well as some extras. Look at that though. So beautiful. It's insane. Can't get over the massive scale. Whoever came up with this particular design, I really think they did a fantastic job. And again, this house itself, you can get, like most houses, you can get them furnished or unfurnished. If you do get them furnished, they're going to cost more, obviously. I try to always get them unfurnished because it's a lot cheaper, and then you can have it however you wish. You can do whatever you want. And this, again, if you're curious, is located way over here in Blackreach, Greymoor Caverns. There we go. And that's Bastion Sanguinaris house, if you're kind of curious. That's where it's located. And then you have the huge fence here. Gate, I guess. Yeah, in the Greymoor Caverns. And there we go, so seeing it from outside. And that's what it looks like, guys. That's just insane. Just amazing. Looks so cool. Oh, PG, that's you walking. I heard something behind me. I heard these footsteps and I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, something's going to attack me from behind, and I'm not prepared whatsoever. Alright. I think what we're going to do is we're going to call it for tonight, because I wanted to do this walkthrough specifically. I just noticed what time it is. I mean, I could play for a little bit, but I won't be showcasing any more houses in case any of you are wanting to see more of that. This is quite a large house, and it takes a bit more time to actually explain and go through it. Some of the other previous videos, if you missed it, you might be able to still see some of those different examples. Which houses did I showcase so far from the collections that I have? Again, the housing comes in 3 different classes. We have the stable, which are the smallest style houses, and there's the classic, which is your mid-range, and then this house in particular is a notable home. Let me see. Right. From the stable home so far, what I did showcase, it was not that one, not that one. No. Where are you? It was this one, Journey's End Lodgings, because I was also working in that area of the Telvanni Peninsula. I was doing some questing over there, and I thought that would be a really neat house to showcase. And I just named it the Underwater Oasis because it's just really cool. It's a whole, there's no furniture whatsoever. It's like a huge underwater cavern that I built, and it's really neat. If you want to check that out, you can see that in one of the previous videos. And if it's not on Twitch, you can always go to my YouTube channel and you can check it out. I always post, especially the housing builds, on there in case, because unless you are full-fledged like Twitch member kind of thing, you can only have your videos up for 14 days, whereas if you showcase it on YouTube, it's there forever. And if you need to go back and look at that for reference or any information about how did I do that, or that special effect, or what pieces did I use, you can always go check that out over there if it's not here on my actual about page. Now, one of the other houses I showcased as well was in the classic homes. Where is it here? We did the Gorn Estate home, and that's in Grotwood, and it's a wood elf, again, mid-range house. Really cool, lots of colorful things to see there, fantasy kind of thing. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that build. The other one that I showcased as well in the past couple days was the old Mistville Manor, which is in the Rift. Again, really neat. There's this little farm, not farm, but barn that's beside the house. I designed it in such a way so it was a little bit different, and then did the estate a certain way. And then there was this one, which was the Calcian Rune, which is located in Telvanni Peninsula as well. That was really cool. I did a lot of stuff to the inside of that, which made it kind of interesting. Had a whole bunch of, it was almost like as if you were an avid collector of special novelties and you wanted to go see this particular house and buy pieces. And in this other room, it was kind of like a museum. It had all these different artifacts and all that stuff, and that turned out really cool. I enjoyed doing that one as well. I have many other houses here that I still have yet to showcase and go through for stable, classic, as well as notable homes. And then this one in particular, where is it here? I think I went past it. Yes, it was this one. There we go. Yeah, and this is what we just showcased today on today's stream. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned some things from it and took away some ideas maybe that you could apply, like I said, not only to Elder Scrolls Online, but maybe some of these other building games, if they have that capability with some of the effects or lighting and tips and tricks on how to make it look more realistic and not so static looking, if that makes sense. Alrighty, now what I would like to try and do, maybe just for a little bit, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do too much of it, but right now Just FYI, if you are playing Elder Scrolls Online, if you haven't checked it out, I highly suggest you do. If you go to Activity Finder, there is this area here for Golden Pursuits. And if you are into building and designing houses, believe it or not, if you get all 25 of these different aspects of this Golden Pursuit finished, you get a house, guys, which is fantastic. I mean, who doesn't want like a house? First thing you get, which is this, it's pretty cool. It's Karnathi's Icon of Storm Control. It's a really neat piece. Again, if you're in housing and building and design, it's this piece that you have in your house, and it's just a small piece of furniture. And the cool thing is it has these weathering type effects. If in your particular house that you have it in, right, you can set it to either it's cloudy all the time, it's raining all the time, or it's bright sunny skies all the time, which is kind of neat, because as you go throughout the game, you'll notice that, you know, the different weather patterns, they change throughout as you play the game, right? But if you want your house and you're like, nope, I don't want any gray skies, I don't want any rain whatsoever, I just want bright blue skies, well, you can do that with that piece. And you got that after completing 5 of the different quests here, right? Like, so it's neat because there's a whole bunch of different categories. Some are quests, some are, you know, things to do with like visiting homes, either players' homes, you know, killing foes, doing public dungeons, just depending on what you want to do. But in order to get the end goal of the house, you need to finish 25 of these. And some of these, for example, I need to do this 2 more times, and then this is completed, this particular kind of dungeon. And then there's another one, then that's up to 23, and then I only have 2 more left. I'd check it out if I were you. It's pretty doable. It's not difficult, a lot of them. And then they had, what was it? The next, if you got up to level 15, you got, 35,000 pieces of gold. Who doesn't like that? Again, you can put that towards purchasing. If you go anywhere, some furniture, some patterns, some recipes, that kind of thing. So you got that. And then lastly, unfortunately you can't see it, but you can get the house, which is the Grand Gallery of Tamriel. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I'm going to try my best to get that, because that's another house. I don't have to pay for it. It's free. All I had to do is a couple of these different things to get it, and why not? And as it says in the description, it's a house. Once the primary museum for collections curated by the University of Gwynlim, this stately structure and its grounds provide a perfect setting for the display of art, curious, statuary, and more. Show off favored possessions in a refined locale, acquired through purchase, promotion, or event. And since this is a specialty event, I think you have until the end of this month to complete this, if I am correct. And yeah, all you need to do is 25 of the different items that they ask. Can be any of them, as long as you do 25 of them, and then you get all of those lovely rewards, which is fantastic. If you haven't had a chance, I would highly check out right now. For example, you go to the store, limited time offers. They have a bunch of different things that are available. But again, if you want something for your house, I like collecting these different music boxes. It adds some interest, adds some sound effects, and some cute little tunes. And I have this one actually, which is the Mother Morrowind's Sacred Lullaby music box. If you take a look at that here, it's inactive, but if it's playing, it has some animation, some lighting, and some lovely sound effects. And it'll play a tune. All the different music boxes are different melodies. Keep that in mind, they're not all the same. And some of the music boxes are only on for a limited time. And when they are gone, you're gonna have to wait almost a full year before it comes back again, practically. And then we have, if you exit out of here, what is it? Oh yes, this piece is fantastic. I have this and I will be showcasing this at one of my houses as well. It's this lovely, lovely statue. Go take a look at it. This is fantastic, guys. It's amazing. It is an enormous piece. Again, if you were in on when Ellsworth came out, it's one of these lovely dragons. And they all animate. You can have it where it's active and it has this lovely green light. The other one, oh, is it gonna go through? You have, let me see, the fire, yeah, and then you have the lightning effect. And then there's like a frost kind of effect. And then you can have it completely just turned off. And maybe that might be fine by itself. I think it looks perfectly fine just by itself. It looks really cool. But that piece is massive if you can get it. And that's a special furnishing piece. Okay? And it has, yeah, it interacts. It's got light. It's got visual effects to it. Lovely, lovely piece. The other one too, I have seen people with this particular house, believe it or not. It is a boat. I do not have this one. I have one that I like that is a bit different that came out, and I will be showcasing that in future as well. But you know what? Since we're here, let's go. I want to check it out. Because I've always seen it when people have decorated it, but I've never seen it just by itself. I always meant to, and I'd always forget to do that. So let's do that quickly. The Fair Winds Housing. Now, if I remember correctly, when you're on this boat, you see things in the background moving, and it has the effect of you're actually sailing on a proper ship, but this is the house. And I swear to God, there are Bethesda gremlins out there listening. Look at that, see? There's the animation of the boats going by and whatnot. I had this conversation, I don't know how many years ago, and I swear that's when they first made the first house, which was a boat, and it was in this cavernous area. And I came up with that idea talking to a friend of mine saying, you know what would be really cool? They have all these like stationary houses. However, wouldn't it be cool if they actually had a proper boat that would be like on the sea and moving about, and you could, you know, see other boats going by. Bing, there you go. And I don't know. I think they have microphones or gremlins or whoever listening in. This is the boat. I just want to check it out quickly. Let's go all the way to the back here. Oh, that's kind of cool. So you see that it's moving, leaving the waves in the background there. And these huge sails. Very nice. This Leowin, I think. Ship's wheel. Can I get in there? Oh, I think I have to go down one more. Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Yes, it is Leowin. I was right. Okay. Thought so. Now, before we go in, I want to see all the top deck first. If I remember correctly, I think I was on someone else's, this house of theirs, and I saw some things like jumping out of the water too, if I remember correctly. It's kind of weird. But it happens kind of randomly. It's not all the time. Look at this. And that's, I think, the captain's quarters there. Really nice though. Love all these. Like the detail of the sails and everything. It's fantastic. That's really cool. Different little crow's nests here and there. I just noticed that. That's really nice too. That's a nice effect. Like the movement of the sails and it's not static. That's nice they did that. And then you see the shadows. Really nice. I like attention to detail like that. That's cool. I wish some of the other sails were a little bit... because they're still kind of... they're good, but you'd think there's a little bit more movement. But I guess they didn't want it too crazy either. Alright. Let us go check out the captain's quarters first. See what this is about. And then we'll go down to the next level. Or is this a crew? Not sure. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks more like crew members. Alright, so you got some stairs going down. Now, you know what? Actually, can't really see, but on the bottom left, I have the option to look at this, the purchase options. Okay, so this is unfurnished right now. They're saying if you want it like this, without anything in there included, previewing as we are, you can get it for 1,400 crowns. All right, but what if I want to see it looking furnished? How much is that going to set me back? Well, for you, the lovely price of 17,500 crowns. And let's take a look, because I'm kind of curious. Alright, so they have a few more lights. Let's see. These rooms were empty. Okay, so they have a few of these bunk beds. Wardrobe. But I mean, if you have these patterns, you could easily do that. Like, these are Breton bunk beds, yeah. Okay. Kind of simple. This is what I'm talking about. When you look at some of these houses, don't always go with, if you are going to get one. I mean, if the furniture is exactly what you're looking for and that's good enough for you and you're just like, you know, I don't have time, but I want it to look kind of furnished, then, I mean, this is a perfect option. You might like it. But this is what I'm talking about. You notice how some of the pieces is like, oh, okay, we'll put this here and here and whatnot. And yeah, it looks pretty, but it's very plain. It just, I don't know. It needs a bit more substance to it, I guess. And that's what I try to do with my actual homes. I try to make it look more lived in, I guess you could say. This is nice. I like how they did this with the cargo boxes. Again, you could do that yourself. Okay. Now that's interesting. Yeah, that is for shelf. It says for barrels, and normally it's wine barrels go in that. But they did it that way. That's a neat idea. Okay, different. Is that a candle in the pot? I can't see. What is that? Oh no. Where's that light source coming from? I don't know. It's weird. And then just more bunk beds. Okay, they did this setup with a different type of table and chairs. Got the side little table and little trunk. Pew. I mean, it's alright, but when you look at the price difference, I wouldn't pay for that. I just wouldn't. Do you really get what it's worth? They might think so, but I don't. I would do this up a lot nicer. It's not bad in a pinch, but it's not my go-to. That's for sure. However, the cool thing is when you go to some of these houses, you can get some interesting ideas and you might be like, ooh, I really like this or I like that. And you can incorporate that and just make it yourself, especially if you have the patterns. And even if you don't, if you are, like I mentioned, on some of these housing and design building guilds, you'd be surprised if you join some of them and you ask nicely, does anybody have any extra patterns that they don't want? Because a lot of people have duplicate, triplicate of some of these things. And if you're new to that, they'll be like, yes, here, please take it because I need the space. And I don't want it on my character. And my character's maxed out and can't learn these anyways. And people in those guilds are pretty cool. The communities are pretty nice overall. And they're quite helpful. And sometimes it's really cool. People will have their own kind of tours of their houses, what they've come up with ideas, and you can bounce ideas with them and talk about stuff related to that, and they can give you some hints how to achieve a certain look or effect that they were able to pull off with their furnishing pieces. Yeah. So a lot of similar pieces, but they arrange them a little bit different here and there. Okay, now let's go downstairs. What is this? Okay, what's down here? They have the odd barrel here and there. Big open space. Why? I have no idea. Okay, so they have some rope and oh, that goes downstairs another level. Well, we'll go check that out afterwards. And then there's this door. Oh, the top deck. Okay. I want to get out. Okay, same thing on that side. Now, I'm looking at a ship like this, and realistically, I would think you would have a heck of a lot more cargo. You might even have animals that you're shipping. You'd have probably lots of bottles, right? Because if you're doing trade, I'm just thinking even, for example, what else? Yeah, like different fruits, vegetables, food, that kind of thing, whatnot. I like these. These are nice. The hammock, how they did that. That's kind of smart. Very plain Jane though. Would I pay 17, what was it? 17,250 crowns? No, I don't think so. Not really impressed with what they have. Don't get me wrong, they have some nice pieces. Some of it is Leeuwin, which is a bit more expensive and harder to come by. But a lot of these are Breton. And I mean, you can get a lot of these and make them yourself. And, yeah. It's alright. I'm not saying it's horrible. But could be better. Again, they don't have anybody down here. Like, where's the... You would have a cook, right? On your voyage. Especially a huge ship like this.
Emotional damage!
Hey, Wedwo. Yes, exactly. Emotional damage. I'm getting frustrated already talking about this a little bit. But, I mean, you know, they have some good ideas, but they could have done a little bit better. I'm just saying. I don't mean to be such a critic, but if you're paying a pretty penny for it to look filled with furnishing, or furniture, sorry. I don't know. I don't really feel that you got the best bang for your buck for this. But, I mean, maybe you guys think it's good enough. I don't know. I'm picky. I'm all about the deals. The chips, no buts. No. Alright. Where does this lead to? Top deck. Hold on, let's check this out first. Oh, okay, so that's where that is. Alright, because I was thinking, oh, well, we'll go check out this area, but it goes here. Okay. Alright. Where do the other doors go to? Let's go check those out. Did you enjoy your coffee, Mr. Wedwell? You know what I could go for, actually? Thinking of coffee? I could really go for coffee ice cream. It just kind of came to my mind. It's kind of warm over here, muggy. But coffee flavored ice cream would be wonderful right about now. I'd be totally down for that. Okay. Yeah, like here. Okay. Perfect example. Alright, this is what I'm talking about. You have the living quarters, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then down here, this is where you'd have all your lovely animals and things like that. Hence the cages, right? The coffee was divine. Good. Good to hear. Did it wake you up a little bit? Were you productive? Did it help you get through some of your day? Oh, that's cool. Oh, neat. Okay. You can see things as the kind of look about the ship that's actually sailing. You know what would be cool? Oh, why didn't they do this? Why wouldn't you have cool cannons, for crying out loud? You should defend your ship somewhat, because there's... Arr, pirates! No, okay, that's terrible. I don't have a proper, like, claw for replacement hand, but you get the gist what I was trying to do. But yeah. Productively doing nothing, yes. This is the base model ship. Yeah. This is with... Okay, this is furnished. Extras cost... No, this is with extras. You want to see it plain? I kid you not. Okay. I went into purchasing options. And we're doing the preview with the furnishings. And I'm like, that's it? And you want me to pay 17,000... Sorry, 500 crowns for that? No. No. And unfurnished, the lovely price for you of only 14,000 crowns. And if you preview that, oh, look at that. No cages. Like, absolute bare bones. Nothing. I think, honestly, you are better off with just the plain chip. And then just... You know what I would do? Okay, because they have... What I would do, if I had the moolah to do so and purchase this house, I would have really cool, like, runners on these very long areas here. I'd have, because there's some Breton area rugs which are massive and huge, which would look fantastic. Add pop of color. It's got the blue and the brown. Oh my word, yeah, exactly. No, it's like, what am I paying for? Really? Yeah. And then watch. Remember all those lovely, like, bunk beds? They're gonna be gone. There's gonna be nothing. Zip. Nada. Zilcho. Like, squat. Jack and squat. Look, nothing. All that, like those little piddly pieces of piddly arse pieces of furniture, gone. Absolutely gone. Nothing. Oh, but we'll throw on the odd lamp, lantern, just so you can see. That's it. There's nothing. Worth it? Not. Yeah, that's what I think. Damn you, Bethesda. Trying to sucker me in, thinking it's a good deal. Wrong. So this is what I'm talking about. Work hard for your money. Work hard for your money. Right? So you gotta make sure you do it right. And if that's the case, you want a good, like, you know, deal. Otherwise, rip off. Well, that's kind of neat. You can see down below, but even still, it's not that as impressive as the lack of furniture. Now, I could probably jump off this ship, but I'd probably die. How do I get off of this thing? Oh, there's the boat. There's the dinghy. Leave home? Yes, please. Oh, it brings me back here. Okay. But yeah, is it worth it? It's up to you. Maybe you think so. I don't think so. It's neat in concept. I'll give it that. But it needs a lot of work, and I don't agree with how much they're charging. That's for darn sure. Let's see here. Like, I'll just show you the house that I have. That's the ship I have. It's stationary. It isn't like in the water moving around, but it's in its huge underwater like cavern. And if you guys have ever seen the movie like The Goonies, where you see the ship, the pirate One Eye Willie, like literally is the pirate that they're trying to find, is like gold and his jewels and everything, and they finally get through all these different caverns and it's all encased in this big cave in kind of a cove area, and that's what they did with this, and I love that place. It's fantastic. The Colossal Aldemary Grotto, and that's in Somerset, and it's fantastic. I like it a lot. But compared to the other one, I don't know. I think this one, the one that I have, is just fine and a little bit better, a little bit nicer. The other house, or sorry, the other ship or house, whatever, is larger, I would say, on the inside than this one that I have. But when you looked at the furnishing options for this one, it was better if you wanted to go that route. I didn't, because again, I wanted to decorate it however I wished. But yep. And I will showcase that another time. I think what I will do... So I'm going to travel to Deshawn, which is... Ugh. That's Stone Falls. There's Deshawn. Actually... I should do my Ritz. And I like going to Craglorn to do that. Everything's really close by. There we go. Belcarthway Shrine. Yes, please. I'll get that done. And out of the way. So what are you working on, Wedwoo? Because you're saying the company, the way the state that it's in. I'm trying to wrap things up. You trying to finish like last projects or something like that? Before closing it all off. Okay. PJ, where are you? There we go.
What exactly am I supposed to do with a wagon full of goods and no one to buy them, huh?
I don't know. That's a good question. What are you gonna do with a whole bunch of items in a wagon? Oh, there it is. I'm gonna get the clothier, blacksmith, woodworker, and the jewelry. Thank you. All right, now. Again, you want to make money? This is a good way to do this. You want to make more money? Do this and however many character builds on each and every one of them. Deposit the money into your bank. There you go. You have tons of money. You can do that each and every day on each of the different character builds that you have. I have like what, 9? And the payback is like 700 gold for each of the different writs. And there was like, what was it? 5 or 6 different things you had to do. And then you times that by another 9 characters. You can make pretty good money. Do I need to refine anything? Yes, I do. Okay. Another way you can make lots of money again to put towards in-game gold to purchase things, pickpocketing and looting. You can also, if you're a crafter of any sort, if there's certain popular items, you can make a whole bunch of stuff. And if you're on a guild that's willing to, that has a guild trader that can sell stuff, you can post it on there, and you never know. You'd be surprised. You can make a lot of money that way too. Okay, they want, what is it? Right, off to the right. Okay, the font is super tiny. I need to open this up a little bit here so I can read this. Craft normal Rubido leather helm and bracers and arm caps. Okay, what do I have? So I have jute. They want Rubido leather. Let's see. We want to go over here. And that's ancestor silk. Do I have Rubido leather? I don't know if I do. Jute, flax, cotton. I don't think I... Oh no, I do. Derp. Okay. There you go. There's the bracers, the helm, and then the arm cap. Okay. They never used to, a long time ago, have these little kind of hints, like little arrowheads saying, this is the one you want to make. So if you did it by accident, made something else, and you went to deposit it, you'd be stuck with that on your character. And you'd have to break it down and then do it again. Okay, so we want to craft one of those. Alright, and let me see, one of these. And they want one of the arm hops. Okay. And now we're gonna go... I find this area is really handy because everything's like really close by. It's not too difficult to find everything. Then we're gonna go to the blacksmith station, sorry. Do I have anything to refine? Yes, I do. Okay, select it. Not a whole lot. Okay, now this one they want crafted normal, rubidite, pauldron, dagger, and a helm. Okay, I got it on the rubidite, so that's good. And there's the helm, so we're gonna craft one of those. We need to craft one of the pauldrons. Now, since this is under apparel, to get to the weapons, you need to, if you're using PlayStation controller, press L1. And then it switches you to the different types of weapons. And there's the dagger that they want. We're going to craft that. So there's 3 items of that. Done. Okay. Now we are going to go right over here. This is the woodworking station. Is there anything to refine? Just double check. Oh, yeah. Got that. Okay. Creation. Now, they want an ash bow. They want a shield as well. Ruby ash. And I do have it on that. So, and there's the bow that they want. So let's craft that. They want 2 of those, it says. Okay, so 2 bows. There's always usually 3 items. It's either 3 separate items or it'll be sometimes 1, 3 of, or 2 of one, 1 of another. Okay, and then they want the shield. Right, there we go. Got that done. And then next, we need to go to the jewelry, and that's just down over here. This is where you deposit it right over there once you're done, but we need to go just over here. There we go. And just back here. Jewelry crafting station. Let's see here. Nope, nothing to refine. Let's create. They want on this one platinum, which is on, which is good. And they want, what is it, 1 ring? Okay. And, oh, only 1 necklace. Okay, that's surprising. Usually there's 3 items, but I guess in this case they only wanted 2. Alrighty, let's go back out. Deposit it. Make our money! Okay. Get over here. And there it is. With all the little caravans. And you just go up to them. Alright, so we gotta put in this one woodworking stuff, so look at that. You get 701 pieces of gold, and you also get a lovely woodworker's case with different items. This is random, which could be, again, mats that you could use for your own purposes, or it might be specific items. And again, if you want, you can break those down again, so you can have more materials to build and create stuff. Then you go to the next one, the clothier one. Same thing, rinse and repeat. Then you go to the blacksmithing one. Then there's the jewelry. Here we go. And that is all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5, sorry. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we had that. Oh, and then there's the provisioning one, and then there's the other one, enchanting. I didn't do those. I just wanted to get those main ones. But you can make quite a bit of money. It's not too bad. Not bad at all. Alright, I think what I'm gonna do is park my character here until next time. Before I go, just a couple things quickly to mention before I forget. I will be back. Let's see here. Tomorrow early, I'm going to be streaming with a couple other streamers. We're playing the game Repo. I was practicing a little bit with one of my streamer friends, which was tons of fun. But I'm going to be showcasing that starting at 11:30 my time, Pacific Standard Time. Doing that for about 4 hours, playing that game. If you haven't had a chance, it's an interesting game. To me, it kind of, but not really, reminds me a little bit of like that Phasmophobia vibe, except you're not ghost hunting. You're looking for artifacts, but there's creepy creatures and monsters that are after you, and you have to try and reach your objectives and in order to progress and collect all these different particular items and bring them back. So that's an interesting, fun little game. It's got some definite jump scares for sure. So I will be doing that tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you look on my actual schedule, it should show you in your own specific time zone what time that will be. All right, in case you're curious and you're like, I can't do math right now because of the time difference. And then I will also tomorrow evening be back here doing a bit more Elder Scrolls Online because I want to get those achievements done. I want to get that house, and I'm going to be working on that. I think there's going to be more kind of chill chat and gameplay session. And you can see me do a bunch of different dungeons. I'm going to be doing that and a bunch of these other types of achievements and some questing. So a lot of PvE stuff, not so much PvP. And if you're into that and you'd like to see that and have some fun and just relax, you're more than welcome to join me on that as well. And that will be around the same time, around 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then I will be back again on Sunday streaming. I'm trying to get a bit better kind of schedule going on. If you'd like to check out what's happening, you can go to the actual About page, and I have put down some different dates and times that I will be streaming. So Sunday night will also be late, around 10:30 starting. And then Tuesdays again at 11:30 because I'm joining up with those other streamers to play that game, Repo, and have some fun with that. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be cool. So again, you're more than welcome. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on these types of fun little streams and you want to be part of the overall Chibs' community, then yeah, please follow me on here so you don't miss out, and make sure you turn on your alerts so you aren't going, but Chibs, I missed what was going on. Well, you need to turn on your alerts and you'll get notified when I go live. Or another way you can make sure you don't miss out, if you use different mediums of social media, I post all the time just before I go online on X, aka Twitter, what different games I'm going to showcase, and you can always check out the actual schedule. I always try to update that just before like each and every week what I'm planning to be showcasing, so you guys have a bit of a heads up that way. All right, on that note, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you had a fantastic time today and enjoyed the different homes that I showcased and whatnot. I know I did. It was a blast. And Wedwo, thank you for dropping by and hanging out as usual. And Paulina for the raid. My goodness, thank you. And all you guys who are watching and lurking, I appreciate you. I see you. And again, thank you for hanging out, and I hope you learned some things and had some fun and some laughs at my expense perhaps along the way. Either way, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you have a fantastic day and afternoon and or evening, whatever time zone you're in. And until next time, guys, on behalf of myself, Gamer Girl Chimine, aka Chimps, we'll catch you on the flip side. Until then, later guys, have a good one. Alright, bye-bye.